is we need to configure that card. So we're going to go to, again, Start. This time we're going to go to Settings. And I want to go to Connections. And again, Connections. And now I'm going to click on Advanced. Now I go to Select Networks. Now this is one of the two critical things that can keep you from connecting as far as this machine goes. One of them is this top drop-down box. You can see you have two choices, My ISP and My Work Network. Machine must always be set to My Work Network. So that's what we've done. Now we're going to click OK. Next thing we need to do is we need to go to Tasks, and we need to click on Set Up My Proxy Server. Now we're not going to actually set up a proxy server, but this is the other thing that can keep you from connecting. You see this box here, checkbox, says this network connects to the internet. That box has to be checked to make an internet connection. So we're just going to go here and check it again. And that's it. That's all we need to do. If we are on an open network without any sort of security or password, we should now be able to get on the internet. So we're going to test that by going to Internet Explorer, Start, Programs, Internet Explorer. And now we're going to go to one of the favorites that's already in here, Windows Media, and click on Windows Media. You can see your little flag waving here, and as you can see, Windows Media comes up just fine. We can go to another one. Here's the MSN mobile site. Let's go to that, and that one loads fine as well. Now, if you are on an open network, like a library, probably a hotel, a coffee house, that's it. That's all you need to do. Those are networks that do not require any password, require any security, etc. If, however, you are on a network that does have security enabled, it's a little bit more complicated. What we got to do is we're going to now close out this all again, go back to our Today screen, and we're going to click on Start and go to Programs. Now, the company that makes this wireless card is called Cisco. You may recognize it. They're very famous in networking equipment, and you can see we have a little folder here for Cisco. So we're going to tap on that, and here we have this program called ACU. I believe that stands for Adapter Client Utility, but in any case it's a configuration program that Cisco has supplied for this card. So we're going to tap on that, and it brings up this window here, and you can see it has this what's called Profile 0. The reason it's called Profile 0 is you can actually create different profiles to log on in different circumstances. But for right now, we're just going to we're going to stick with Profile 0. Now, what we would want to do is we would want to click on Edit. And you can see here we have a list of items, and there's a scroll bar here that we can scroll up and down. And the very first one is called the SSID. This is your network ID. And if you cannot connect, the first thing you need to do is check what that network, it's a network name basically. You need to check what your network name is and fill in that box. Right here where it says value, you would click in here. We have a Linksys network, a Linksys router, so by default our network name is Linksys. You may very well have something else. You can usually find out the name of your network by going to a regular Windows desktop computer and clicking on, again, on that machine on Start, Network Connections, and it will come up and you will be able to see the networks that you are connected to or able to connect to, and they will show you the name generally of that network. So we need to fill in that box, and then we need to click OK. Alright, now we go back again to edit, and the next thing you want to check is where it says infrastructure mode. This should always say yes. Okay, now next thing we want to look at is where it says WEP here. WEP is the most common form of security. Probably 99% of networks use WEP. So this is probably what you're going to have to fill in. You can see there's a value box here that says no WEP, static WEP keys, or dynamic WEP keys. 99% of people have static WEP keys. So we would click on that. And then, so we've told the program that you have these static WEP keys. WEP keys are basically nothing more than a password, fancy name for a password. So we would now click on WEP keys, and you could have more than one. Now you can see there could be as many as 4. So you need to choose the one that you have, and then you would need to click in this box here and use the keyboard down here to fill in your WEP key. And you need to also tell the machine whether it is a 40-bit or 128-bit key. Now, you might ask, how am I to know that? Well, the network that you are trying to connect to has a router attached to it. The router has usually an internet page that will show you what the WEP key is, and again, which number it is, and so forth, this other information. We're going to give you a separate video showing you how to configure an average router. It may be that you will have to call the people that made the router and ask them for help, or it may be that you will need to look up in your instruction manual, but we will get to that in the other video. In any event, we're going to click OK here. Oops, sorry, we're going to click Cancel because we don't actually have a WEP key. The only other things I want to show you here, generally you don't really need to worry about these other things here. The only thing perhaps is where it says mixed mode here. You probably are going to have to change that to enabled if you use WEP. So that's something that's different on different networks. You can try it both ways, disabled or enabled, but probably it will need to be set to enabled. The rest of these items really are not something you generally need to worry about. So we're just going to finish up here. Let me show you just briefly at the bottom here a couple of things. There is something called a survey. You can run a survey that'll show you your signal strengths and so forth, and there's also one for statistics. There's also one for status that will show you what your current status is. Our status currently is not connected because I've been fooling around with the configuration of the card. But hopefully that will get you through the basic configuration. Generally, there are the only thing you have to worry about on this machine is getting the WEP key right. If you get that right and watch the video on the router, you should be able to configure with no problem. Thank you very much.